Last time on Vintage Geek, we unboxed a factory fresh IBM PCjr, but much to my dismay, it did not work out of the box. So today, we're going to put in a new motherboard and see if we can get this IBM PCjr back to life. I was pretty disappointed when our factory fresh PCjr didn't work on the last video of Vintage Geek. It was definitely a letdown. Now since then we've actually tried one of our PCjrs we had in storage at Vintage Geek, and it did work and it did boot up. So I'm hopeful that we can get this factory fresh one back to its original operating condition. In order to do that, I've acquired from our friends at eBay a brand new in the box IBM PCjr replacement motherboard. This one is from 1991. We're going to try to install this in the clean PCjr and see if we can get it to boot today. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pop the cover off of this really clean PCjr. We actually did this the other day to take a look inside when we were doing some of the troubleshooting. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just kind of start removing all of the components off of the board here, because ultimately we're trying to get to the bottom. Remove this RAM card. All right, now I'm going to take out the floppy drive card. This thing is so new that everything is really tight in here. Okay, now we got this plastic housing for the disk drive. Alright, we got the old motherboard out. Now we need to see what components we need to replace from the new motherboard. I'm going to set the case aside for a moment. Alright, so this is our replacement motherboard. We've got a limited IBM service warranty. It's probably not valid anymore, but you know. Certainly looks to be the same exact motherboard. Doesn't look as factory fresh, so possible that this was opened in the past. Now let's see about getting the various components off of this. I'm going to need to remove this power supply. It looks like there's a bit of glue at the bottom of it, so I'm going to try to just use a flathead screwdriver to kind of break that seal. I suppose I don't really need to reinsert this power supply until it's back in the case. So I'll set that aside. We've got this IR receiver, it looks like. This one I'm going to go ahead and try to reinsert on the new board before I even put it back in the case. I'm going to try to put this in the case, and then we'll try to attach the power supply. Put these screws back in. Now we can reinstall the power supply. I think we're all reassembled. Let's put the cover back on, make sure everything fits. Here we go. We're just going to plug everything back into this guy. We've got our brand new motherboard installed in this PCjr, and now we're going to give this round 2 and see if we can get this to fire up today. Yes! Things are looking good so far. Aha! IBM Personal Computer Basic, that's what I expected to see. Now we have a working PCjr. So now we can actually play with one of these. I'm pretty excited. As I mentioned in the last video, the PCjr was IBM's answer to the home computing market. They were trying to compete with things like Apple, Commodore, Atari, etc. So one of the things that I found interesting in looking at all the materials for this particular PCjr is that they had a built-in thing built into the memory of the system called the keyboard adventure. And they reference this in the Getting Started guide, that it's one of the first things you should do. A, to make sure that your keyboard is working properly. It's got the infrared, make sure the batteries are charged up and all of that. And apparently the simplicity of this involves just simply hitting the escape key once the IBM is booted up into BASIC. So we're going to try that now and see what happens. Oh, it does bring up something. Oh, look at this little friend. We would like you to meet PC, who will be your guide through this keyboard adventure. He's wearing a fun hat. So we're going to guide him around a little bit and kind of go through this IBM tutorial. We'll start by moving him up. All right. Looks pretty responsive. Keyboard's working well. Okay, can't go past the top of the screen. That makes sense. What's this thing over on the left-hand side? Oh, that is some sweet walking right there. Yeah. Ah, I think that was a key. We just opened up a place in the wall here. What happens if we go through this box? It's a nice touch, IBM. All right, now what do you want me to do? Oh, I see. It's just kind of recreating the 4 arrow buttons on the keyboard. So I've hit up, right, and down. Let me hit left. Now what does it want me to do? I'm moving the actual rectangle now. Oh, so this is just a matter of actually putting all the keys down. Alright, well this is a pretty clever way of showing that all the keys work on the keyboard. I'm probably not going to go through all the keys because there's just a lot of fanfare for each one of them, but this is pretty cool. Cool little program built into the memory of the PCjr. It gives you a way to test the keyboard and also kind of experiment with some of the functions. I'll bet to someone getting this PCjr brand new, that'd be a pretty awesome thing to get out of the box. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and shut this down. There's a couple of discs that came with the system. One of them should show some of the features. I think another one's a sampler. In the back of the little manual book for the PCjr comes this actual disc called Exploring the IBM PCjr. So we're going to give that a try and see what kind of info it tells us about this system. Now, hopefully this is an actual self-booting disc. I don't know for sure, but given that they didn't give us any cartridge or anything else to load it with, I would presume that this should load automatically when we turn on the system. We'll find that out now. IBM and they're really amping up things here. I like it. Exploring the IBM PCjr. Welcome. IBM has made every effort to make your personal computer easy to use and learn. Well, I have to say so far everything looks great. The color looks great. The clarity looks really good. Oh, we got a table of contents. All right. Stay tuned for chapter 1. Okay. Lesson has pages and chapters just like a book. Okay. Function key and page down is what advances to the next page. All right, great, that's good to know. You can review the previous page by pressing function and page up. Okay, that makes sense. Heh, just a minuet. This program has music and sound effects. In fact, there's some music playing right now. If you don't hear it, try adjusting the volume on your TV. Oh no, I hear it. Now we can try to adjust the volume, I guess. There's a sweet sounding PC speaker right there. Okay, got the keyboard. Keyboard lets you control the PCjr. That makes sense. Typewriter keys. I suppose this probably would be pretty important to someone first learning a computer. That's who this was aimed for. Yeah, I do actually like the function labels on this keyboard. They're very clear with the green type. And I suppose it probably helps that it's just so super clean and factory fresh. All right, go on to the next section, press the escape key. Ooh, welcome to FunWriter, the greatest show in word processing. Even if you've never used a word processor before, you'll like this one. Besides being fun, it's great keyboard practice. Shortly, you'll get a chance to type right here on its screen. Ooh, this is getting exciting now. It's got special function keys. Oh, one of these function keys says it's radio on off. Oh, what does that do? Let's see what that's all about. It's definitely going to help me get some word processing done, I'll tell you that. Oh, you can turn the hearts on and off too. Oh, nice. That makes it very fun. I notice they have stuff for cut and then pick up. I don't know what the pick up is for. Does that pick up a whole word or a whole sentence? Yeah, it's like it's pulling a whole line when I hit pick up. Oh, put down. Oh, it's like you can cut and paste whole lines at a time. Auto type on off. The Prince and the Peddler. Oh, it's typing like a whole story. The Prince and the Peddler. Oh, so it's just going to keep typing the same thing over and over. That's kind of fun. All right. This is pretty clever, honestly. I mean, it's a demonstration. It's showing you things that the PCjr can do, but it looks great. It's fun. It's got special functions. I like this. Sentence below contains a misspelled word. Move the cursor to the incorrect letter and type the correct letter over it. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with this. Roses are rad. Occasionally, your screen will get cluttered with old messages. Any chance it'll fly? Sure, this machine has the right stuff. IBM, well played. Try this for a clean sweep. Press the control key and hold it down. Press function home. Release the control key. Okay. Yeah, clears the whole screen. Neat. Well, that's it for suggestions. This is a practice page. Spend as much time as you'd like. Try any one key or all 62. All right, pretty good keyboard tutorial there, IBM. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the tutorial here. Love what they've done with this. IBM has really made a nice little tutorial system, and it is fun to play with and learn. A couple things to note at this point about the PCjr that we're working with today. One is that we were able to run that first program from the disk and from the disk drive. However, afterwards we tried to run the PCjr sampler disk, which also came with the system. This is a different copy of it, and that did not function. We tried 3 different copies of that disk. They would no longer load, and now the original disk won't load either. So I assume something's going on with the drive. Could be a speed issue, could be something with the belt. We did notice that it was making a little bit of a squealing sound when it was trying to load, and we had the same experience with the other PCjrs that were in storage. So this might be a common thing. We can certainly look into that. I'm not too concerned about that going forward. Also want to mention that we got the IBM hands-on basic book with this particular system. I did thumb through this book, and unlike some of the other systems that we played with here on Vintage Geek, I wasn't too impressed with the sample programs that were in this. It's certainly a comprehensive reference to all of the different commands and things you can do with IBM PCjr Basic, but I was kind of disappointed in the lack of just a fully functioning demonstration program that we could type in quickly to kind of show off some of the features. But then again, they did have the introductory disk, which did a whole lot of things we went through, so I guess I can't complain one way or another. It looks like the basic that came with the unit is pretty powerful, like other basic programming languages we've used on other machines, so we'll have to play with that a different day. What I'd like to do now is get into some of the cartridges that we got with this PCjr and see how it handles gameplay. The first game I want to try for the PCjr is a game called Mineshaft. Now, this particular game was one of the games that we did get with this PCjr. It's not sealed or anything like the PCjr was, and it is a cartridge game, so I'm anxious to see what this looks like. Danger! Floodwaters have short-circuited your robot miners, and now they're running berserk, threatening to collide with your mining car. How can you retrieve your fortune and gems without being destroyed? Well, I'm looking forward to finding out. I did break out for this particular game our actual IBM PCjr joystick. This joystick is very familiar to me. It's actually the same joystick that I had for the Tandy color computer when I was a kid. It just had Tandy branding on the front instead of IBM. So whoever made these joysticks must have made them for multiple companies. This one, of course, has the proprietary connector for the PCjr, so it would not be inherently compatible with anything else. But I did think this one's in pretty good shape. It's got a nice spring to it. Return to center looks really good. Overall, it seems to be in pretty good shape, so I think it should work good for our test today. IBM presents Mineshaft by John Riddickop. To begin, type K for keyboard or J for joystick. Well, I found this great joystick, so let's go ahead and go with the joystick method. Yeah, it looks kind of like that Snake program we wrote for the Commodore PET in another video. Oh wait, which one is me? Not sure if I'm actually doing anything, or who I'm even moving, for that matter. Oh, now I'm moving. Must have been a sample page. I'm stuck. Oh no, I'm stuck. Wait, can't seem to get out of that corner. Oh no. Really doesn't handle well with the whole jog situation. When there's any kind of jog in the map, it does not like that. I gotta see if I can get this gem or whatever this is. Alright, I got one. So all my theories about this joystick may not have been correct. It does not seem to be completely responsive in all directions. For example, when you push up, it just wants to return down, so it's almost like it's always going downward. Ah, there we go. Just had to adjust the centering a little bit. Uh-oh. Oh no. This game does not seem to be quite my forte, but I did get the joystick to behave a little bit more predictably now. No! These guys are really aggressive. There's a door. Yes! I made it through one level. Well, I did manage to get a high score of 460, which I consider a win in this kind of game for me. Movement's good. Graphics are decent for what it is. It's pretty basic, but the joystick works well once I got the centering figured out. I would say it's definitely on par with some of its counterparts with the in the world of Apple and Commodore, but still a rudimentary game. I don't think this is really showing off the processing power of the PCjr from some of the screenshots I've seen of other things. So let's see what the next game looks like. The next game we have is a game called Crossfire. This is another Sierra online game. It's interesting how many different things Sierra was involved in the early days. Defend your city against dangerous spiders and other menacing insects running madly through the streets, determined to destroy everything in their path. Sounds pretty serious. The cover art on this particular game looks very techno-future kind of esque on it, so I'm curious where they're going to go with this in the game itself. We've got the cartridge right here. We're going to go ahead and try this one out. IBM presents Crossfire by Jay Sullivan. Once again, we've got a choice of keyboard or joystick. I'm going to go with the joystick method. Okay. What am I doing? I'm at the bottom. Okay. Am I at the bottom? Yeah, I am at the bottom. Okay. All right, the left right's a little bit out of whack here. Do I have any weapons I can fire? No. Okay. So I guess this must be an avoidance kind of game. All right, I get the evading the bullets thing, but oh, to fire your missiles, press and hold the button, then pull the joystick in the direction you want to fire. Oh, okay. That's incredibly basic. I don't know why I didn't even think about that. Let's try this again. Aha. Oops. At least I got him after he got me, so I've managed to get a score of 40 so far. Or maybe 80. Well, got to 230 score-wise. It's kind of fun though, once you get the hang of it, roaming around trying to shoot these ships. There's probably some strategy to it, I would imagine. Ah. Yeah, there's definitely a learning curve to trying to figure out. I don't know why I always keep doing it in the wrong order as far as aiming and then firing. And I don't know if this is one of those ones that would actually be easier with a keyboard. It's the up ones that always get me for some reason whenever I try to shoot up. This game is actually kind of fun. I could play this for a while trying to figure out the exact method and the exact timing to get all these ships destroyed, but very basic. Anyway, it's a good effort and it's a good game. It definitely has some fun to it. So I'm glad that we got to play that here on Vintage Geek today. The good news is, after getting a fresh motherboard, our factory fresh PCjr is actually operating now and almost ready for the museum. I'm a little bit disappointed in the floppy drive. We're gonna have to go through that and see what's going on so that we can properly load discs and everything. Overall, it's a pretty nice little machine. I actually really like the infrared keyboard. It's cool to be wireless even from a machine of this era. And the keyboard itself seems very responsive. Excited to get to play with this more and play with some games. Hey, if you like what we're doing here on the channel, be sure to like and subscribe. It's gonna help us out a lot. And if you wanna rock out a cool Vintage Geek shirt like the one I'm wearing today, you can go to our merch store. You can find the link in the description, and we've got all sorts of different shirt designs, and that also helps us grow and helps the museum here at Vintage Geek. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out our other videos, and we'll see you next time.